Howdy friends, welcome back to Toy Box Nostalgia. I'm Douglas. In this episode of Diorama Creations, we are going to be building this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sewer layer diorama together. So I designed and built this sewer layer diorama specifically for the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon toy line. Obviously this toy line does a really good job at being a one-to-one toy manifestation of the actual Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon from the 1980s. So I had to, well, make the diorama cartoony. So you have to bear with me because this is my very first time working with foam. I've never used a foam cutter before and I honestly didn't know what was going to happen or how this was going to turn out, but I'm very happy with how it turned out. That's why I'm sharing it with you, and we're going to go through the entire process together. So please don't consider this video any type of tutorial. I'm not responsible for what happens if you waste money or if something explodes or catches on fire or melts or fumes get into your home. I did everything very carefully, and I pretty much did the whole entire process outside in my backyard. Okay, so before we dive into this, I'd just like to say if you're new to Toy Box Nostalgia and you'd like to see more content like this show up in your newsfeed, please consider hitting the subscribe button. If you like the content of this video, please hit the thumbs up, it'd really help out the channel. And drop a comment below letting me know if you've ever worked with this type of foam before or built a diorama like this before. Give me some tips, give me some pointers, I'm a newbie here. Thanks so much for watching, my friends. I will catch you after the break. Okay, first things first. Here's the thermal cutter that I bought. This is going to be used to cut the foam. This was not recommended to me, but I did notice that one of the reviews for this was somebody that I saw on YouTube that was really good at making dioramas with foam. That's why I chose this one. It was pretty cheap too. It was relative to how much, most of them cost. It's below average. It was pretty nice. I also got this glue right here. This is foam and craft glue. It's technically Cure, I think. It's called Cure, Foam Cure, who you see right there. And it takes 24 hours to fully cure, but it works, I think, like right away. I found these on Amazon. These are called duct flanges, and they were pretty expensive. They were like 12 bucks each. But I plan on painting them with a matte gray finish. And I'm going to make these essentially the sewer entrances, like the pipes inside of the sewer diorama that we are going to build tonight, my friend. I got 3 of them. Okay, so here is the foam that I purchased. I honestly don't even know if it's the right stuff. It's just called Project Panels. And as you see here, it is 1 inch in depth, 2 feet by 2 feet. It's just kind of like a big old square. I bought 4 of them. I also learned on YouTube that you can melt this stuff really easily with the propellant that is within the paints. So this guy right here, this guy contains acetone, and I don't know if you know this or not, but acetone absolutely can dissolve like regular white styrofoam completely. I've seen YouTube videos of people just putting it in acetone and just turning it completely into liquid, like the foam just disappears. It's wild stuff. But one of the tricks that I did learn on YouTube is that if I hold the spray can about 15 or more inches away and just do light dustings, every time I do that, there's less chance of the propellant or the acetone to get onto the foam to melt it. And also each coat helps it protect the foam from the next. So I don't know if this is going to work or not. This is the gray that I'm going to be using for the sewer entrances. This is the color I'm going to be using for the sewer walls. I'm also not going to be doing individual bricks, like every single individual brick, just because, well, I don't want the diorama to be too busy, even though in the cartoon you see every single brick. Okay, so this is where I'll be using it outdoors here, just so I can get some good ventilation. It's kind of neat. It's like this weird black and green. Kind of looks like it's some sort of equipment from like an underground bunker in like World War II. Even like the font and everything, the way it's designed, it just looks really old to me. Okay, here are the instructions. I'm guessing this shows how to set it up and put it all together, because when I opened it up, it was just a bunch of pieces, essentially. And this is, before powering up units, please connect the red wire to the overarm part 2. There we go. Right? Cool. So it turns out that thing was on the wrong side. It was over there. Maybe for packaging purposes, I don't know. But I had to take it off and put it on this long strip. And then stick the shorter one inside there. The directions weren't very clear, so I watched some YouTube videos on how to do it. Sorry I couldn't show the actual cutting process. I only have 2 hands. Okay, so the machine cuts really well for small pieces. For large pieces, not so much. It's because this part is really wobbly on this side. See that? And this thing's like as tight as it can go. These are all as tight as it can go, and it's like when you're pushing it through, you can very easily just not make a straight cut, unfortunately. Hopefully I can find something on Amazon that, I guess, grips onto this and holds this down from this side. Not sure. I honestly could have gotten a straighter cut if I just used, like, this long ass straight edge and a blade. Smaller cuts, on the other hand, are great. Look at all these bricks that I made. Nice, even, nice looking little bricks. Right? These are going to go on the walls of the sewer in random spots to make it create the illusion that there's like some bricks. Okay, so if for those of you that don't know anything about the thermal cutter, the way this thing works is actually really cool, right? There's no wires going to this. Essentially electricity, I forget how much the voltage are, I think it says on there, but electricity goes through this arm and goes through this wire. And somehow just the wire, it's enough of like DC voltage so the wire gets really, really hot. And as you see here, there's like a gap there. See, between the stabilizer, the wobbly stabilizer, and the wire. And that gap is perfectly wide enough for me to just slide this through and make these bricks. Whoops. So as this thing heats up, I'm not going to do it right now because it's indoors, but you take your foam and you kind of just slide it like this, and you could slide it directly through, like because this part's hot, it just melts right through. There's a little bit of fumes that come up, and well, that's where this guy comes in. I use this for literally everything in the project, by the way, and I'll talk about that in the afterthoughts at the end of the video. But yeah, that's the way this thing works. It just kind of like cuts. See this piece right here, this is the piece, I think, yeah, I literally use this for bricks, right? And this is what they turned out to be. Every time I would slice it through, I would actually have to take my hand and just pull it off and just throw it in here. And that's it. And I cut a lot of shapes, to be honest with you. This is a bunch of excess here, as you see here, it's kind of neat. It's almost like you can consider this like some sort of saw, but it just uses heat. Next, I'm going to measure where to put this. I need to account for 1 inch at the bottom, which is going to be the floor. And I don't want this to be too close to the floor, but I want it kind of close, and then maybe like this far over from the side here. Kind of nice, right? And I got this thing that I'm just going to use. It has blades on it. See that? The plastic doesn't need to spin, I'm just not holding it down, but the plastic part keeps all of the horse shit from flying up into my mouth. All I have to do is measure this, and cut it, and we'll be right back. Okay, there it is. Super cool. That thing worked really well, but the battery of my drill died, and my other one wasn't even plugged in, because, you know, I'm always prepared like that. So it cut deep enough where I was just able to use a utility knife to finish it off and just push the piece through. So nice. Now before I paint this black piece, silver or gray, I need to find rivets. Probably have to go to a craft store and find some sort of stick-on beads or half dome circles or something to put. on there, but luckily, if you take a look at it like very closely, there's not only are there holes where I could put them, but there's like almost drilled holes also in perfect places for me to just line up those beads, so I don't have to measure anything with that. That's kind of cool. But yeah, so here's the back wall, and look at that depth. That's kind of nice, right? I actually like the depth of the sewer entryway like that. I think that's cool. It's gonna look really nice, I think. Hey, so we're back. Day 2. I went to Michael's and I found these. They're like half a sphere, right? Take a look-see there. See that? Kind of nice. And we're just gonna put them on there, right where all of these little marks are and these circles are. Hopefully they stay. Okay, all done. Check that out. They stuck on there really nice. Very sticky. Cool. So here it is inside the foam. Looks nice, right? Imagine that being a matte gray and the background being like a yellowish color, right? It's gonna look pretty nice. Before I do this, I need to put on the individual bricks, which we've shown already, these guys here. And I'm gonna put those on using this foam glue. Right there, just like that. I'm just gonna kind of like randomly place them throughout, make it look like, you know, a brick pattern. Once I'm done with that, what I'm going to do is prime the entire foam with this. I've decided to actually prime it rather than just put paint directly on the foam. I heard that this protects the foam from getting damaged from the spray paint. Shake it up really well, spray it on the clear plastic that I have put down first to make sure it doesn't sputter too much to prime the nozzle, and then I'm just going to apply thin coats to it, many thin coats to it, moving back and forth while spraying. And this is just Mod Podge Ultra Matte. I always call it Mod Podge for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with me. But okay, so according to the directions here, it takes about 10 to 12 hours to fully cure. So we're gonna put the bricks on and with this glue, and I'm just gonna let it sit overnight before putting on the Mod Podge and spray painting it. So these are like the types of patterns I would like to do on the whole thing. Here, I'm going to use this ruler just to put down the first brick, like the top bricks, just to make sure that they are straight across, you know, to not screw up the illusion that those are a brick pattern. Okay, so I want to show you an example as to how this glue works. And this glue is very stringy. So what you do is I just squeeze it and I put a little clump on there, and then I kind of wipe it on the back of the brick. The stuff makes a lot of strings, like hot glue. Like, it reminds me a lot of hot glue. I put it on and I would just press down. You don't want to press down too much, because if the excess comes out of the sides, it doesn't dissolve and go down into the styrofoam, unfortunately. Yeah, see, I don't know if you can see that, those strings. Oh, it's kind of annoying. The strings actually show up whenever you do the spray paint too, so, but yeah. The excess does not go down into the, or does not evaporate or go down into the foam. So whenever you go to paint it, you can actually see the bumps. Like, that's something I'm gonna keep in mind next time I do a project like this. But there, we'll just do that right there, and we could show you guys what that looks like. Yeah, see? But yeah, see the excess now on the top and on the bottom? That stuff unfortunately is going to harden that way, so whenever I paint this, it'll actually like show up there. That's just one stupid thing that I learned when doing this. Figured I'd help you guys out. Okay, so here it is, friends. I like the repeating patterns. I'd like to add in more randomness. I do have some randomness, like these bricks here. And I like how I put bricks all around the actual opening of the sewer, just to make it seem like it's almost kind of distressed. I don't know, I'm not sure if I should put more bricks on it or not. I ran out of them, so I'll definitely have to make more, but that's okay. I mean, it just takes a couple of minutes to make more. I think I might just leave it this way. So it's time to Mod Podge the shit out of all of this so that we can paint it tomorrow. Okay, so this is the end of day 3, and this is as far as I've got. I gotta make a lot more bricks to put them on the left side and the right side. This part's now painted. It looks really nice. Very happy with how that turned out. I still have Mod Podge on here that's drying. I'm gonna wait for it to dry, and then I'm gonna paint the foam. The ground, like the concrete ground, is done. It just has a coat of Mod Podge. Actually, for each one of these pieces, well, for this piece and this piece, haven't done these yet because I had to make a bunch of bricks so that I could finish the two sidewalls. But these two pieces have had probably 6 coats of Mod Podge just to prime it, just to make sure it doesn't melt whenever I spray paint it with this. Okay, this is it. Figure I'm gonna test it on the concrete flooring first, because the brickwork took a lot of work, and this would be easy to replicate if I melt it. Here we go. Wish me luck. Alright, so here's another progress video. Nothing melted. At least not yet. I just painted it. I used probably 10 really fine coats over top of it, and I kept the bottle at least 12 inches away, but I was trying to keep it 15 the entire time. But so far, this is what we look like, and insanely happy with the results. I was planning on painting those bricks a darker color, but somehow they just are darker. I think it I think it looks cool, just kind of how it is. So okay, I guess I'm gonna start applying bricks to the other 2 panels there, and then I'm gonna paint those and glue it all together, I guess. Okay, just finished this back wall right here, this pink one, with the bricks. And now I gotta do this one next. And then tonight, I'm gonna apply at least 6 coats of the Mod Podge to the pink foam on both of those, and hopefully tomorrow I can get them painted yellow like the backdrop there. And then we're all done. Okay, just finished bricking up this wall right here. Now all the walls are bricked, everything's ready to go. I'm going to Mod Podge this wall, the pink that you see here, these 2 walls, probably about 6 times tonight, and then tomorrow I'm going to apply the yellow on there. We should be all done. Wish me luck, my friends. Okay, so these guys are ready to be spray painted, I guess. I'm still considering whether or not I should put black outlines on underneath some of the bricks. I really think the lighting does a great job, but if I did do that, I feel like it would match the turtle figures a little better. And I was also considering, as I mentioned before, putting black outlines underneath each rivet that's in the sewer opening, the actual gray plastic part, just to give it that kind of NECA cartoon TMNT look. But I'm not sure yet. I took it upstairs and I already took a toy photo with the concrete bottom and the back wall, and it looked amazing. But it didn't really hit the sweet spot for like the NECA TMNT toy look, so still considering it. Okay, so here is probably the final update video. I didn't realize it was going to turn out this nice. As you see, I repainted the floor. I was thinking about it, like I don't remember the floor in the sewer layer being gray. And so I had to look up pictures of it, and it was like a dirt brown, and there was like stones and weird shadows and all kinds of goofy shit on the floor. But sometimes there were those black lines, especially in the intro videos, or I'm sorry, the intro splash image that they would show before the episodes. They would show those, you know, little concrete blocks there, kind of cool. Okay, so this is the side panel. This is what they both look like now. They're completely all painted up. The spray paint went on really nicely, no melting. I really think the Mod Podge kind of saved the day there with that stuff, because there aren't even like little droplets. There's nothing. There's like, it's perfect. It looks just like the foam did when I purchased it. As far as like the surface, nothing looks melted. I will show you an example of melting, because I did do it by accident. It started raining and I started to get really fast. It happened on the floor. You can kind of see it right there. I'll show you in a second. But see all the brickwork, the shadows there? I just did that with a Sharpie. Honestly, if you could get the lighting right, like it just does it. Like the lighting just does it. Look at that. See the rivets there, the shadows. So switching up the flooring, right? as you see here, I was able to get some sort of speckle effect there. I don't know how the hell I figured that out, but this is what I did. I used this as the base color. This says, come on buddy, come on, focus. New Terracotta Flat from Bear. This is from Home Depot, and this is, see, that's the color there. I just did the whole base with it, and I kind of left it, some of the spots really thin, so you could kind of see there's like lighter areas where the gray kind of actually shines through. Remember, this was initially gray, and I thought that was really cool. It's kind of a cool effect, right? This is the color that I used for the splatters. So to get that satin brown boots is what it's called. It's from Cryon, and I'm pretty sure this came from Lowe's. But yeah, let's see how much paint's on there. To get that effect, what I did was I kind of held the can, I'd say about 12 inches away, and I just pressed this down like ever so slight, the nozzle ever so slightly, so it was making like a hissing noise, and I just kind of just kept going like this, and I just let it splatter and splatter and splatter. Because this crap right here was dripping, unfortunately it dripped onto the floor on the side over here, and you could see this is the effect that happens when the acetone hits the foam. So that's unfortunate, but it's cool that it happened on the side and not anywhere else. There's a couple of drips there, but I was able to just get them off pretty quickly, and I think it just kind of adds to like the dinginess of like the sewer layer floor, right? Well, that's it, my friends. What do you think of the diorama that I created? I'm very thrilled with the outcome, and NECA, if you're listening, please re-release the accessory pack sooner than later, because these turtles need a place to sit. They need a TV. So now's probably a really good time to talk about afterthoughts. This was my very first experience using foam. This is my very first diorama project in which I used foam. So first and foremost, if you're working with foam or spray paint or any type of chemical, I highly recommend using a respirator. That was the thing I showed you in the garage that had the two big pink plastic filters on the front. I was also using safety glasses because whenever you're painting the foam, remember, as I said before, I was trying to keep the spray paint can like 15 inches away from the foam to, technically try not to melt it. The Mod Podge really, really helped there, I feel like, because I don't know, there were some times when the wind, we don't actually have a lot of wind here, but whenever I go to do something outside with spray paint, seemingly wind spins in a tornado around me, and because the spray paint can was far away from the actual foam, I was essentially making a paint cloud, and my arms were turning yellow, everything was just turning yellow around me. So yeah, the respirator. Also, if you're using the thermal cutter and the foam, I would also recommend using the respirator. I did that. I used a respirator and I was outside. Just simply because whenever you make your cuts, you'll see burnt foam like smoke come up, and it could just easily just keep going up into your face if you're doing something repetitive like I was doing with the bricks. Just like every time I would let the foam go completely across the metal wire, the cutting wire, smoke would come up. So yeah, please be safe whenever you're doing something like this. Another important factor to think about whenever you're doing a project like this is just have fun. I truly just expected that I was just going to hulk out and just smash all the stuff and throw it away and then either return or sell my thermal cutter. I somehow just got lucky. I was just, I don't know. Stuff was going right for some reason. It's a very simple process. You're just making little geometric shapes, you're just cutting stuff out. Super easy, gluing stuff together, and then priming it with a Mod Podge and painting it. That's literally all I did. So again, thank you so much for watching, my friends. If you're new to Toy Box Nostalgia and you'd love to see more content like this show up in your newsfeed, please consider hitting the subscribe button. If you like the content of this video, please consider hitting the thumbs up button. It'd really help out the channel. And drop a comment below letting me know what you think of the diorama, and also let me know if you've ever done one of these projects before using foam to create a diorama. And please give me some pointers if you have, because I'm a newbie here. I'm looking forward to my next projects. I guess I have to start working on New York City next. Thank you again for watching, my friends, and remember, keep on rocking in the toy world and collect and shoot.